Councilmember Barnes.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, this is the recommendation coming from our Housing Trust Fund Advisory Board to appropriate $11,262,000 for the development of 52 extra units that are going to be created or preserved. And the number of projects that we're funding here we're funding 12 projects with an average housing trust investment of $33,534. Neighborhood Planning Development reviewed, recommends do pass.
Thank you, Councilmember Barnes. Councilmember Ellington.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I was actually hoping I would have been able to debate the mayor slightly on this since it's his ordinance. I have extreme concern and heartburn with the housing trust allocation. I'm going to be real quick with my piece. Councilman Barnes just stated very accurately that 9 out of 12 projects is slated in the 3rd District. The problem with that is, these are projects that we've already previously funded from tax incentives, city tax incentives. Part of the argument yesterday on the floor in committee was that multiple projects have different sources and you seek funding. That's a good argument on the front end, not on the back end. So when we have special allocated taxes that are supposed to compel development, and then we have housing trust fund dollars that are specialized funding that we could utilize to expand services and also to expand units, most of these projects that are receiving allocations in the 3rd are not expanding units, nor have these projects started. So what is the actual issue with helping developers with gap funding? The actual issue would be we're not a bank. We're not a loan corporation, nor are we a credit union. We're not supposed to be supplementing developers' gaps. We're supposed to be ensuring that citizens have access to services. So if you look at the housing trust funds, you will see that we have a few home buyer home assistance programs, but they're minimum, not at the maximum. We have a few specialized gender facilities that would deal with people with LGBTQ placement where they can actually have safe and secure, but that's only one facility. And then when you look at the facilities in the 3rd, again, these are facilities that have got funding, mostly from CCD projects, et cetera, and these are all affordable rental creations, not home buyer assistance programs. When you look at the 5th and the 4th, they have traditional supportive housing. That's good. That's sustainable. So my question and my contention and my heartburn is why, when it comes to the 3rd District, can we not have growth? Why, when it comes to the 3rd District, can we not have new programming? Why do we have to continue to fund development prospects that haven't even started to be developed? That is actual madness, that we can't take tax dollars and incentivize the area. The only thing we can do is incentivize developers that have come to us with inadequate plans. And I say inadequate plans because they haven't been able to develop off of $3 million, off of $5 million, off of $2 million that we previously allocated. And now we have to give housing trust funds dollars that could be utilized to stabilize people from homelessness, that could be utilized to stabilize neighborhoods, that could be utilized to increase neighborhood preservations. But none of that is important in the 3rd District. What is important in the 3rd District is giving developer dollars to developers to close potential gaps in absence of any actual real development. So again, I would caution the body to vote no on this. And the last thing I'm going to say as I sit down is when it comes to the nature of a continuous body, we make priorities day in and day out. And if we keep making priorities that we want to be a credit union, that we want to be a bank, and this is what we're going to keep getting. We're going to keep getting developers that come in here to close their gaps as opposed to developers that have adequate plans and source documents and capital stacks that are actually accessible to development. You don't see it in the 4th in any of these. You don't see it in the 5th in any of these. You only see the repetitive development programs in the 3rd, which is tragic that we're all comfortable with not growing units in the 3rd, not growing affordability in the 3rd, but ensuring that developers are made whole, an abstract of us doing anything. And It's saddening, because when you talk about the tax dollars, we can't even develop off of some of the tax dollars that they're holding.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellington. Others wish to speak on the ordinance? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.